Hi everyone. I'm going to do a short video. I wasn't going to, but sometimes the trust circle can be challenging to get through, to understand. And because this is Seraphine's first time in teaching it, I thought that she may need an aid in it, even though we're going to be brief. She's going to be briefed on it, and we're going to go through it and run through it. She should be fine, but just in case, I wanted to do this video. The trust circle is an extremely important part of your belief system and the process for restoration and healing. We usually start with a blank sheet of paper, and then we just draw a circle. Anywhere, you can draw a circle anywhere on the paper. And then we say, okay, and the circle represents, inside that circle, it represents trust and safety, an affirmative environment. It says that you are safe. So, and then I'm going to ask you to place a dot that represents you. It may be in the circle, it might be out of the circle, it might be on the border of the circle. I don't know. Do you trust yourself with yourself and your decisions and everything else about your life? If so, put yourself in that circle, position it wherever you want. If you're kind of on the border, sometimes you make really good decisions, sometimes you don't. You can't really trust the way you're feeling. You don't follow your gut instinct. You're making bad choices or not the best choices. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. You're on the fence a lot. Then you're going to put yourself on the border. Let's say you don't even trust yourself at all. You're going to put yourself outside of the circle. And then you're going to think about the people in your life, in your circle of friends, colleagues, family, all of that. Who out of all of that circle of friends, family, colleagues, whomever, do you trust? And if so, whoever they are, put a dot, put their name on it, or identify them just with a letter or a number. It doesn't matter. Inside the circle. Now, they can be positioned anywhere inside the circle. I mean, maybe you trust them completely, and you could put them real close to where your dot is, or maybe it's in the middle. Maybe your dot is outside the circle, but there's a person that you trust all the time, and you go to every single time. You can put them in the middle of your circle. Maybe there's someone who you don't trust, but you feel like you should trust them. Don't put them in your circle. A lot of times we think because they're our parents, you should be able to trust them. They should be in the circle. If they should be in the circle, they shouldn't be in the circle. If they are in the circle, if it's because you trust them, right? Just because you should trust them doesn't mean you do trust them. So if you don't trust them, get them outside of the circle. If sometimes you can trust them and sometimes you can't, maybe it depends on the situation. Maybe you put them on the edge, okay? And some people, they put God in the middle. I think God should be in the middle of the circle all the time, but not everyone feels that way. Some people are in a bad place spiritually, and God doesn't even make it on the picture, on the piece of paper. Other people put God, like if you have a whole big piece of paper, they put God like way down in the middle, like in a corner, because they just don't trust him because they've had some bad experiences. And then you're going to go through that and you're going to think about, who do you want in your trust circle? The people that you want in your trust circle, there's one person in particular, and that's you. You definitely want to be in your own trust circle. If you are the only person in the trust circle, believe me, you're with a lot of other people who I've worked with. The only person that they seem that they can trust is themselves. And if they're very faithful and spiritual, God, of course, is also in there with them. A lot of times this represents a sense of despair or loneliness, like there's no one else that you can count on or trust. And that's okay. We'll get over that. You'll get through that. And sometimes you're going to realize that it's okay if you're the only person in that trust circle, along with the God that you believe in. Because we are at the end of the day, we are each our own affirmative environment. We have to be able to trust ourselves with our own decisions and our choices. The other thing is, you may not be in the circle. You might have family members or friends that aren't in the circle, maybe even children, spouses that aren't in the circle, but you want them in the circle. You want to be able to trust these people. So you want to maybe identify them some way. You know, they're outside of the circle. Maybe you want to circle them, circle their name, and you want them to be in the circle. And I'm not going to tell you how to go about that yet, but we need to identify at this point, at this stage. This is something that we're going to be working on probably over the next maybe 2 or 3 sessions. It just depends. So I need to know who's in your trust circle, who's not in your trust circle, who would you like to be in your trust circle, and who do you not want ever again in your trust circle. And it's okay to never again have people in your trust circle. So that's basically the exercise for now, and that's what I want to see visually, and I want to see photos of that with your name written on top, so I can get a sense of where you are when it comes to trusting yourself and other people in your life. And I just wanted to tell you a story because when I was going through all the crap that I was going through, I actually removed everybody from my life except for my children, my 2 daughters. I removed every single family member. People were questioning my judgment on why I was getting separated, why I was getting divorced, questioning my judgment and my decisions and my statements about how I was emotionally abused by my ex-husband, and a lot of that was coming from, you know, my family members, you know, my sister or my mother. And it just bothered me so much that I was just like, you know what, I can't handle this negativity. And so I took them out of my trust circle. I took them out. And it took them about 3 years to prove to me that they could be back in and that I could trust them, that they were going to believe, they weren't going to question every single thing that I said. I wasn't going to have to justify every single thing I had to say. I don't want to justify every single thing. If I have to justify my positioning or my decisions and my choices with people, then they're not in my trust circle, quite frankly. So just to give you some background, I've been there. I've been the only one in my trust circle, and I've had to learn how to rely on myself and how to create my own affirmative environment, myself, because sometimes I was the only one there. And it really taught me the greatest lesson, which is one of the greatest lessons and values, attributes of what I learned was the value of self-reliancy, and to be self-reliant and the value of that. So, all right, I'm going to stop there, and good luck with the session today and the exercise. Can't wait to see what you guys present.